Hi guys, this is Kest. I want to talk about something that I was thinking about, and I said to myself I have to do a video on this because this is something that I really want to talk to all parents who have Simian Line children. As a matter of fact, to all people that have children, but especially those with Simian Lines. Why do I want to talk about this? There's a lot of people asking, oh, I just had a baby and my baby has this line on his hand, maybe he has Down syndrome or autism or something like this. What I want to say is that please don't forget to ask the doctor when you're having the birth and when you plan all of those things. When you have the kid, please ask the doctor, because the doctor will be the proper person who can tell you if your son or daughter has Down syndrome or autism, because obviously some of those symptoms, I assume that they're not immediately obvious. At least I know that in autism it's not. So I know that you can have an autistic baby and not realize that he's autistic unless you start noticing on his development that he has something different or that his learning patterns are different. So autism is clearly different. I don't know about Down syndrome, to be honest with you guys. I'm not sure if you can just from one point to the other contract that sort of syndrome. I don't think so. I think that you may be born with it. That's the most logical for me. Obviously, we all know that Down syndrome is visible because the face has different features and the eyes, they have different features, so you can recognize people with Down syndrome very easily. I cannot really say to you your son has this or that just because he has a line, because this is just in the whole panorama of a human being, this is just a detail. Obviously details count and details speak a lot about ourselves. Details are not something that you can just be, oh, my son has this, so therefore I will have a baby with issues or problems. That's not even close to the truth. And you'll know that there's a lot of people with this line and they don't have any sort of syndrome or any sort of clinical diagnosed conditions. So I would say to you, if you hear this sound, is my neighbor who is picking up his laundry on the window, because in here in Lisbon we put our clothes on the windows, so we don't have a drying machine, or well, you may have, but most people here just dry the clothes outside their windows. And I know there are a lot of you that came here enjoy that and take pictures. So anyway, I was talking about children and Down syndrome kids Simian Line kids. My advice to all parents is, first of all, your kid will be born with a lot of stamina, with a lot of energy, with a different mind pattern to understand things, and things are so slightly as the detail on his hand, so you cannot assume by slight details that that's not it. Just pay more notice to the slight details, because those are the key factors to understand people with Simian Line. So one thing that I would say to you all is, and this is clearly my first advice, your son or daughter will be born with a lot of energy, with a special sort of energy, with a rare sort of energy. So first of all, occupy them. And I know that probably a lot of people say, oh, but my son does this and that and the other, he has a lot of things to do. Well, keep doing them, because kids are not as grown-ups, so they're bendable, they're very strong. You may think that they cannot handle it, but they can. If they can't handle it, they will tell you, because they're also honest and very truthful, and you can see and you can read on their faces the level of realization, happiness. So people with Simian Lines, they're very transparent. At least physically you can see on their faces. Most people, I wouldn't say every people, but most people. So occupy your kids. Just make sure that you are exploring everything that they have to give. Most people do the opposite. When they have a kid that is really hyper and so forth, they give them medicines, they sort of want to calm them down to the maximum, and sometimes their nature is not to be calmed down but to be explored, that sort of energy line. You know what I'm talking about. And this is a problem with society nowadays. Society created this sort of platform where people learn in schools, and when they're 18, 21, whatever you want, and they're legally adults, they start working. It's already too late. That's why I believe Oriental cultures have developed much more emotionally and spiritually, because they know that when a kid is born, when a child is born, not only they come empty, but they're already ready to learn, because if they're already open to the world, they're already open to receive. So if they're just receiving goo goo gaga ba 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 ba, it's not gonna develop with that intensity, and this serves for everyone. So if you have a kid, whatever, if it's a Simian Liner or not, just put the kid and explore their potential. Just make them do chores, make them do activities. Don't be afraid, oh, my son has a lot of activities, he can handle it. He can, and she can. Like I said, kids are very hard, not only hardworking, but very dedicated, and their stamina is really quite high relating to grown-ups. So, and a lot of people on this society, I find it so disturbing and weird. I'm gonna just tell this brief story just for you to understand what I want to say, and sorry about the bumps on the computer. But I had a teacher that once I created, like I said, I studied fashion, and we made our first fashion show. In the end of the first year, I created those costumes that you saw, those outfits that you saw with the sunflowers. That was my inspiration. We're talking 1995, so you see how long it was. In 1995, my first collection was inspired by computer games, because I'm sort of a geek. So therefore, my inspiration was Chun-Li from Street Fighter. You can see on the prior video to this one, some of the pictures, they have the sunflowers on their head, like the Chun-Li Street Fighter character. The fabrics were satin. Sunflowers were painted by hand by me. The straps on all their clothes were transparent plastic, so you wouldn't see the difference. And this is a long time ago, 95, guys, 1995. So I remember even on my picture that you see, my collar on the shirt is made out of plastic. Nowadays, a lot of people work with plastic and all those things. In that time, it wasn't common. And I always enjoyed to be a pioneer on things. I like to create things that no one has created before. As I said, that teacher on the first fashion show, I'm not gonna dwell much on it. In the end, I was approached by two sort of people. So girls and specifically a guy. But those girls were part of the embassy, some African embassy, something like that. And the other guy was someone that came near me and said, well, listen, I've seen a lot of fashion shows. Obviously, I've traveled a lot about around the world, and I really enjoyed it, and that was like an ego booster for me. Those girls were really interesting because they said to me, oh, can we buy those clothes right now? And I said, I don't know. And I asked my teacher at the moment, and remember, guys, I was already 18 or something like that. No, I was 17 to 18, something like that. I remember asking my teacher, can I sell the clothes right now, because people are requesting it? And she said to me, do you think that your clothes are well made? And I said, well, I'm pretty sure they're not well made. Do you think they have the proper conditions to be sold? And I said, well, no, not really. So, and then I went, talked to the girls and said, no, sorry, I'm sorry, my teacher just said, obviously the clothes are not in condition to be sold. We can maintain contact. I never spoke to them again in my entire life. Again, another lost probably option or some lost possibility for me. That specific teacher was someone that really didn't like, because I was always very hyper and I was always joking and playing. I'm a very playful sort of person, and she never enjoyed that trait on me. You know, those types of people where you're saying a joke and laughing and trying to make other people laugh, and they are just that you cannot really stand them. So that was her. She was a frustrated designer for sure. I say for sure because you can feel that energy, and I knew that I had the talent, but she was, well, jealous. She was jealous. She was like, and it was not directed to me. See, these people are like, no one will pass this sort of organization thing that I have in my mind. So for you to be a top level designer, you have to be this and this. And this is not true at all, guys. People sometimes are born with talents and gifts that they should explore since they know what they have, at least. People that constrain other people, people that say no, people that say, oh, you should think twice, oh, you should do this, just put them in the bag, wrap it up, throw it away. Because those are not the people you want to hang out with. I'm tired of these sort of negative sort of people that always consume you, and they keep consuming because they don't have any self-creation enjoyment on them. They don't know how to live alone. They don't know nothing about emotions because they are frustrated because they didn't live the life they should have lived or that they wanted to live. And in my case, I always knew for a fact that if I don't do this, I do that. If I don't do that, I do the other. Because life is not my job. Life is about what I put out there. If I'm an educated person to others, respectful, kind, helpful, there's so many things that a person can be, that why are you going to choose to just cut other people's legs? And if you didn't have the chance, why don't you give the chance to another person and be on the background? That's also very important and very empowering. You know what I mean? To all of you that have kids, just make sure that you see with a doctor if there's some sort of different aspect to it. If your son or child is totally normal between quotations, of course, if it's okay and just has this line like me or others here in the channel that has on the other hand, on our both hands, don't be scared. Just use that potential to the max. Remember that what you have is already some sort of rarity. It's not something that a lot of people want to acknowledge. If you do that, and if you or let them use their potential, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of cool things will happen in your life and in his life, because that's the major thing. People with this line can do a lot of good for others, but they have to have a nice background, a nice sustained back. If they fall by any chance, they have, a good team to support, a good support team. That's what I wanted to say. This is just a thing that I was thinking about. Please put them on gymnastics, make them draw, make them run, make them explore, make them do things with their friends. Don't potentiate the technology to a level where they pass the entire day playing video games and so forth. They already have their cell phone. That's already a major thing. And for a lot of kids to have a nice video game console like PS4 or Xbox or anything like that, that's cool, that's amazing. Don't cut them out of that. Don't cut that out of their lives, because I know I were born on the Spectrum 2048K and it helped my development, because I'm pretty sure that and if you don't, you start to know that helps kids develop. So don't cut technology. Just make sure that that's not the biggest part of their day. They should be doing other things. Planting a plant, know how to cut that plant in two and divide it into vases. Understand their names, the animals, how things are made, cook with them. So there's a lot of options. Please, another thing, if you don't want kids, don't have it. Just don't. To all of you that are parents of Simian Line kids are happy, this is not a bad news, this is good news. It's a happy thing to have a kid with Simian Line. It's just double, everything in double. So you are just gifted with some person, with some gift. Please enjoy that and make sure that you realize what I'm saying. Just don't know, my kid has a thing, I know it's a gift or something. No, just make sure you do know him. That's a being. Kids are not just to make them grow and that's it. Know him. Know why he's special. Know what's their characteristics. Other thing that I don't want to forget, kids with this, like me, my mother has it as well. So this is a genetic thing. So probably one of you have. If none of you have, probably one of your parents have. Just make sure that you also know the story about this. I'm on the quest to know answers. I already understood. I have some proof of something that I will tell about the Simian lines in a video. It's a health condition that I discovered. It's not something alarming. Don't be alarmed. I already told it's not a bad thing to have Simian lines. I want to discuss in a proper video just for the Simian line subject, while this one was sort of mixed. For those of you who are here and watching this video and don't know what's a Simian line is when on your hand you have those two lines. Usually they're considered the heart line and the head line. I think this is the heart and this is the head. This is known like this in chirology and palmistry. I'm a science person, so for me, I just call it Simian line because I like the story about it. but I don't fully know all the aspects of hands. That's also not my calling. I go through this on the palmistry and chirology just to understand, and I read things because I'm attracted to the occult and to the mystic, but I prefer the explanations, the more logic, scientific ones, and this is genetic. So I have this one, which is these two lines together, you see. Some people have on this hand, mine's left, some people have on the right hand, and some people have on both hands this line. And those are called double Simian liners, and I have a video here talking about it. I will talk about this one as well, just a proper video, and about this one. But for now, the double one has a little bit of everything, and you can know. As I said, I'm on a quest. I want to know everything around this line, around what's behind this story. There's a lot of alien stories about it and how we were crossed with an alien civilization. Obviously, this is not only a legend, but it's a mystical story. It has some sort of supernatural sort of content, which obviously we cannot take it fully to the scientific part, but it has some scientific knowledge, mainly location, where it was in South America. It was a tribe, the Toltec. It has some details that are very interesting. There's a lot of stories around this line, and I'm reading everything that I can. I'm trying to understand more and more. If you guys want to come with me on this journey, please just join the channel. I'm not gonna speak just about Simian lines. I'm a person that I'm interested in a lot of subjects, science, arts. Those are probably, and social subjects for me, those are amazing. So I'm a very diverse sort of person. I hope you guys don't get bored with me or very, well, this guy is a lot. I decided to create this channel and to share experience with all of you, and know that this will remain, and this is spoken with the heart. I hope you guys enjoy. Oh, by the way, Punk, do you want to say bye to our friends? Come over here. Punk, come over here. Anna, say goodbye to our friends here. Say goodbye, see? No, she doesn't want to. Anyway, I'll see you on the next video. Bye.